So with the help of virtualization, it is possible to virtualize the operating system, the software or in a hardware, and even the storage devices like memory devices. Whenever we would like to have the service, we can ask the service provider to provide the service, and we will be billed or we can pay only for the amount of resources, amount of time it has been utilized. Hosting data on the third-party resources can lead to the putting the data at risk. It has the chance of getting attacked by any hacker or cracker very easily. Dear students, welcome to Computer Science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In this session, we are going to talk about what are different types of virtualization. In that, application or server virtualization and desktop virtualization. These are the things to be discussed in this session. Let us start with what are different types of virtualization. So in our previous session, we have learned the definition of what is virtualization. Now let us see the types of virtualization. First one is application or server virtualization, network virtualization, desktop virtualization, storage, and data virtualization. These are all different types of virtualization. Now let us start with what are application virtualization or server virtualization. Now look at the definition here. The server virtualization, it is a kind of virtualization in which the masking of server resources takes place. So here, if I say server virtualization, so the particular server, it will be having a hardware or software resources. So for multiple users, we can have multiple virtualization environment of the same physical server, that is server virtualization. Here, the center server, the one physical server, is divided into multiple different virtual servers by changing the identity number and processor. So this is the definition of server virtualization, where one physical server is divided into number of or multiple different virtualization. Now, so each system can operate its own operating system in an isolated manner. So with the help of virtualization, once the environment has been created, and each and every environment will work on its own as isolated manner, in which all of them will be having its own operating system. Next one is where each subserver knows the identity of the center server. So how do we connect these two environments? With the ID number, and processor number. So with the help of this, it is possible to identify the virtual environment with the virtual server. So this is the definition of server virtualization. In the next slide, it causes an increase in performance and reduce the operating cost by deployment of main server resources into a sub-server resources. So it is a cost effective in deploying or implementing the main server into sub-server resources. So it's beneficial in virtual migration, reducing energy consumption and reducing infrastructural cost, etc. So this is another advantage of this server virtualization, where it is a cost effective. And here, next one is the application virtualization. It helps the user to have remote access to an application from a server. So this is I'm talking about application virtualization. So here the one application, that is one application, it can be accessed remotely by different users from different environment. So application virtualization or server virtualization, here one particular application has been, with the help of that, we can have multiple virtual environment so that multiple users can access those applications even at remote locations. the server stores all the personal information and other characteristics of the application, but can still run on local workstation through internet. So even though with the concept of application virtualization, so it runs on separate local workstation. So this is the definition of server or application virtualization. Now let us see the diagram of this. So here this is one of the application server and this is the example for application virtualization. So here in the application server, we have web content, email, message, attachment files here, and these are the firewall. And here, this application in server, the particular application is accessed by different clients at different interfaces. So here, this is server virtualization or application virtualization. Let us see other features of this server virtualization. The definition is one physical server can be configured to have many virtual servers in the same computer. So what is the, again, one of the point is that the one physical server. So here, the one physical server, it can be configured to have multiple virtual server in the same computer. Now, it improves the server availability. So this is the advantage of that. So with the help of different multiple virtual environment, so the server availability to the users, it will be effective. It also helps in disaster management. And next one is developing and testing can be done. So here, development and testing of any sort of software can be done even on different virtual environment or different virtual computers. Now, centralized server administration. So here, with the help of server virtualization, so the maintenance will be done at the server level through server administration. Now, each individual server can be separately rebooted, can have different OS and applications. So with the help of this, it is possible to have different server, means different virtual environment. It can be separately rebooted and can have different OS and can have different applications. So this is also one of the advantage of server virtualization. Now let us see the diagram of that so we can understand what is server virtualization. So here this is one of the physical server is one, another server, and there is another server N. These are the physical servers in an organization. So these are storage devices, shared storage devices, and this one physical server is virtualized, or with the help of this we can have this system will be having virtualized environment. So this is another virtual environment and this is another virtual environment. See, this is the concept of server virtualization where one physical server will be used by multiple users or multiple systems with the help of virtualization. So this is the concept of server or application virtualization. And here, as we seen in the previous slide, so each and every virtual machine or environment, it can have its own operating system and also can have different applications. Next one is desktop virtualization. So what is a desktop virtualization? Now definition is, it is a software technology that separates the desktop environment and associated application software from the physical client device that is used to access it. So this is a desktop virtualization. The concept here is the desktop software which can be used by multiple users and with the help of desktop virtualization. So it is possible to have desktop virtualization in the sense the applications or the system, it will be used by multiple users with multiple environment. So here it is associated application software from physical client. So the physical client, they are going to access it. So it's going to isolate the two different environments and it allows the user's operating system to be remotely stored on a server in the data center. Another advantage of this. Next one is it allows the user to access their desktop virtually from any location by different machines like tablet or laptop. So with the help of desktop virtualization, it is possible for the user to access their desktop or their desktop applications or any of the software through virtually from different locations with different different types of machines. This is the advantage of desktop virtualization. Next, the users who want a specific operating system other than Windows Server will need to have a virtual desktop. So it is possible to have more than one operating system in the virtual environment. Suppose any user who would like to have other than Windows operating system, it can be provided through desktop virtualization. One can own a desktop as a cloud and use any devices to access it. So with the help of cloud computing technology, it is possible to have one user can have its own desktop through cloud computing. Now data are stored on a cloud or virtual world with the help of desktop virtualization, and it is possible to have a data, it can be stored on a cloud environment or through in virtual machines, and users can access the data stored in a centralized server through browser. So there's an interface through which one can access the data from the server. So user can maintain individual desktop on a server or cloud computing or in the cloud. So this is the features of desktop virtualization. Now let us see what are the advantages of desktop virtualization. So now we can see this is the diagram. See, this is operating system, one of the application, and this is another system, and this is another interface. So here this is virtual machine. So this is the server, this is a desktop. So desktop is here virtualized. So this is an example for desktop virtualization. The main benefits of desktop virtualization are users mobility, portability, and easy management of software installation, updation, and patches. This is the advantage of desktop virtualization. Now let us see what the drawback of this. The drawback is it requires skilled people to manage the infrastructure. Actually, this has to be used by the skilled people, those who are with the experience with this type of cloud services or virtualization. Now, high deployment cost. For implementation of this is very costly and entirely relies on the internet connection. Of course, this is all the services are accessed by through internet connectivity. So this is based on that is the base for your virtualization, and driver instability for some peripherals. So the desktop virtualization, the drawback is that driver instability. The devices which are connected to this computer may have this problem of driver software problems. Now latency and endpoint security concern. So another drawback is for security. These are the disadvantages of desktop virtualization. So students, in this session we have discussed about the application or server virtualization and desktop virtualization. Let us continue our discussion in my next session. Thank you very much.